What up, my man of society? It is your host with the most, Shadow Loke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. It doesn't cost a damn thing. Join the madness. Now, what I wanted to get into was, I was in this other, channel, and, they were discussing a certain event, right? Well, I don't know if people heard, right, but it happened about a week ago, right? In the city of Torrance, at the Del Almo Mall. There was an incident, right, where they say, at least what the, media says, that there was up to 500 kids that gathered right there, teenagers, pues. They have video about it. You can look it up, right? There's video out there. There's actually a lot of video out there. And yes, they're all young. They're all like 15, 16, 17-year-olds, 14, 13, roughly around that age, teenagers. Up to like 500 of them, right? And they had gotten on social media, right? And they decided to all meet up at this mall because they were going to go, do smash and grabs and fuck it up, but, destroy it, cause havoc and chaos. So, that is what occurred, right? But, the cops were ready. They had, riot gear and everything like that. Torrance called, local, PDs from different departments to come and help them because it was a shitload of people. And fights had already broken out. People had already gotten shot. And so there's all kinds of chaos and havoc. You can only imagine, right? And there's video out there of, kids beating up other people, and this shit's going crazy, right? So in this, channel I was in, right, the person was saying, like, that's crazy, he said, where are these people's parents at, right? These kids, where are their parents at, right? And then this person, jumped on there and says, well, you can't always blame the parents, it's the kids. These kids are bad and yada, 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 right? Like, these kids are no good and they know what they're doing and et cetera, right? So to that, I'll say this, right? Me being from the streets and, knowing, all about that world, right? Well, my kids are not like that. My kids are not meeting up and, going and doing that. I have 4 kids, and they're in their teenagers. They're already high schoolers, right? Actually, my 2 oldest are, already, almost out their way out of high school, right? One is out of the way out of high school. One's, about to be out of the way out of high school. And, one is in 9th grade, and then one, is in middle school, right? So, I have, kids already at that age, right? And they're not like that. And I live in the hood. I live in the ghetto, bro. Where I live, there's all kinds of gangs around. You know what I mean? And, I still kick it with my homeboys and, my family and stuff like that, right? My kids are not like that. And my homeboys' kids are not like that. And other kids I know are not like that, right? My son's friends and stuff like that. They're not meeting up at the mall and going to fuck shit up and stuff like that. Why is that, though? Why is it that they're choosing not to go and do shit like that while these individuals are choosing stuff like that, right? I was telling my wife, I get it that there's some kids out there that are bad and stuff like that, right? But it's because they weren't parent. Because if you parent your kids the right way, if you're there for your kids, if you parent your kids the right way, they won't look to do stuff like this, because activities like this is a cry for attention, bro. You can go and argue with the facts. You know what I mean? It's funny because, a lot of professionals, say this, right? And the information is out there. It's public information, right? But people don't want to accept it. They choose not to accept it. They choose not to listen to it, or they just choose to say that these people don't know what they're talking about. They never lived that life. They never experienced it. So how could they know? I lived that life and I experienced it, and I could tell you that what these people are saying, yeah, it lines up. Of course, like I said, there's individuals that are bad and stuff like that. But like I tell you, your kid, you bred your kid. You show your kid right from wrong. The kid doesn't know no better, right, when he's growing up, right? As the adult, it is your job to provide these teachings to your child. But when you choose not to do that, or, you put it to the side, or you let others do it for you, the outcomes tend to not be so good, 9 times out of 10. See, I left that 1%. For those who be like, no, well, I knew somebody that was that. No, that's why I said 9 times out of 10. Because there is rare occasions. There is white tigers, right? They're rare, but they exist. But the overall statistics show, Like it's crazy. 500 teenage kids, are meeting up right here, and their parents don't know what they are, or what they're up, up to, and why their kids even like to indulge in this kind of activity. Or they're not wondering what their kid is at or what they're doing until they're getting the call that they're in, been arrested. Because a lot of kids got arrested. A lot of kids got arrested. You see it on the news camera when they're arresting something. They're like, come on, please, man, I'm only 15. I'm only 15. You know what I mean? It's fun and games until, they burst that bubble. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, where are the parents at, bro? And how is it that you don't know that your kid is involved in these kind of activities, or this is what your kid is, drawn to, right? Like these kind of things, right? I have 3 sons, bro. And people may call them like, little nerdish or whatever the hell, because they're, good kids who like to read and don't really like, going out, you know what I mean? They like to play video games and read books and stuff like that, right? And, and that's cool. You know what I mean? I don't tell them they could go do it. I trust my kids. I know they could go and do what they choose to want to do. I have trust in my kids. But they just choose to do activities like read books and stuff like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't force them. This is how they are, right? And just by talking, I never strike them or tell them that they better not do this or they better not turn out like me or all hell's gonna break loose. Nah, bro. Just by having conversations and understanding. Doing the opposite of doing the stuff that I felt like, I wish I had, or I wish, that would have happened, in my case, right? But it didn't turn out that way, and it's cool, you know what I mean? No use crying over spilled milk, right? And maybe the person I am today, so, a toda madre, right? And it's crazy, one of the sayings that I find, to be true a lot of times is that, a lot of, the great fathers tend to be the ones that never had a father. And that is not always true, right? But statistically wise, it does show that, right? And, it's obviously you don't want to do the opposite of what wasn't done for you. We know what makes us us, right? What created us and why we behave the way we behaved, right? Obviously, when you're a teenager, you're not going to say that and you're not going to admit that because you're looking to stay face and tough and, you know what I mean? Like, you're not looking to be seen as weak because the world that you live in, devours that kind of behavior. So you already know you have to stay, as hardened as possible, right? And, that tends to harden individuals and make them, act out and do the crazy shit that they do, right? Because they know that in their world, any type of weakness, gets preyed upon. And this is the world that they have to live in. It's not a choice. They're a teenager, right? They don't get to choose, what scenario they're put in, right? Because they're young. So this is the world that they have to live in. They have no other choice to live in here. So in order to survive, they feel like this is the method. Because 9 times out of 10, that is the method to survive in this world. You know what I mean? Because people are tired of getting preyed upon, tired of, people taking advantage. They're tired of the shit. Now it's time for the world to feel, what I feel on a day-to-day. Right? So they go and they do these kind of things, right? With no care in the world of, who might get hurt. Because people got shot that day and, shit like that. But to them, it's all a game. They don't give a fuck about who got hurt or what concert or, or anything like that. Because they all played a role nonetheless, right? Just being there, you played a role in it, right? But they don't care about, everything else of what happened with who. Unless they get caught, right? But then again, like I said, then they're just looking to save their asses. When you choose to, hurt other people or don't care about destroying other people's shit and stuff like that, it's because already your mentality, for you to have the mentality of that, it's okay. It's already showing some kind of red flag at home. Because normally kids, shouldn't have that kind of mentality. Because a lot of kids don't have that mentality. As a matter of fact, in that video that they were showing on the news broadcast, there was a group of white kids, right? White boys, right? It was like 6 or 8 of them, right? They were talking about how scared they were and how they were at the theater and they huddled up together. And these are teenagers too, same age as the ones that were causing destruction, right? they're talking about how they were huddled and hugging each other, to keep each other safe. And people, when this channel was at, people were making fun of these, white kids, like, oh, weenies and, wooty wooty woo. And it's like, bro, these kids, they're just kids. This is how kids are supposed to behave at that age. Not like these guys. So why are you guys encouraging this behavior and calling these people weenies and stuff like that for being what they're supposed to be, kids, and supposed to react? This is how normal people react to this kind of shit. The fact that you're looking to, now humiliate these people for acting appropriately, it already shows your mentality and how disturbing the world is that we live in. Say what you want, but whoever raised those white their parents are doing a good job, my guy. Because, they're doing it the right way. They met up with their friends. They're going to go see a movie. And they reacting, like people were hurt and they went to go see if they were okay. And, they were telling, what happened. They're civilians. They don't have no ties to the streets and stuff like that. So, yeah, they're telling the cops, what they seen and stuff like that. As kids are supposed to. At least good, some good people. Right? So, hey, I applaud whoever's kids those are. Because those parents are doing a good job. See, that's parenting. Everybody else that's running around doing destruction, where are you guys at, bro? How come these kids behave different than those kids? Because in the ghettos, right, where the hoods are at, where these gang members are at, right? Because people could say, oh, well, these kids probably live in a nice area, in a rich area. Like I said, I live in the hood, bro. I live, gang infested, bro. My kids ain't like that. And there's other kids, too. Not all the kids that grow up in the ghettos turn out to be gang members. Why is that? Could it not be that the ones that turn out not to be from the gangs that live in the ghettos where these gangs are and these gang members, could it be that those kids' parents are possibly in their lives, right? And that's why they choose not to be like that. Because if it was because of these gang members in the ghettos and the, whatever, all these kids would turn out to be from the gangs. But they don't. Only a small percentage of those kids that live in the ghettos and the chaos turn out to be gang members. Right? Because if it was because of all this and that, all of them would turn out to be from the gang. But they don't. Only a small percentage. What's the difference? They're going to the same schools. They're living in the same area. So why does some turn out to be from a gang and some don't? Could it not be that maybe these people are properly getting parenting? I'm just saying. Or leave your opinion in the comments. Maybe you could answer that question for me. I would like to know your opinion. And maybe if you have the answer to that. But I'm just saying. Shout out, we out.